parents are like your parents, you should do things for them. Yeah, and she keeps manipulating her spouse, and she shifts the entire responsibility and burden onto his shoulder. Hey everyone, I hope everyone is doing good and taking good care of themselves. So today I'm going to talk about the reasons why golden child of narcissistic parents marry. And before I get going, I would request you all to like, share, subscribe the channel, hit the notification bell so you guys are updated whenever we put out a new content. So we know that these narcissistic parents, they engage in any kind of relationship. These narcissistic individuals, they get into any kind of relationship to harvest supply. Now when it comes to the golden child of narcissistic parents, in majority of the cases I have seen these golden child growing up to be narcissists themselves as well. Yeah, so the probability and the chances are high that these golden child will become a full-blown narcissist when they are of the right age, when they are in their prime. Yeah, because they did not have any healthy role model. So they grew up seeing their narcissistic parent, the way how their narcissistic parents used to act, react, behave. So as a result of which they grew up believing that this is the right way, I'm the favorite one, I need to mirror my narcissistic parents, I need to become a clone, I need to become a similar version. Yeah, the version that they are, the narcissistic parent. So these golden child actually have no identity of their own. They just mimic, they just shapeshift, and in most of the cases I have seen that they just become a mirror version of their narcissistic parent. Yeah, and this is because they did not have any healthy role model. Their circle was trimmed. Yeah, because the narcissistic parent was constantly manipulating them, pushing them on the edge, you know withholding love and affection, all of those nasty things trained these golden child and conditioned these golden child to be a version that is approved by the narcissistic parent. And the best thing is to become like them. Yeah, if I become like them, there will be no problem, no criticism, no issues, no conflict, no disagreement, and things will be, pretty stable, pretty calm. So these, kids, because of this lack of healthy role model, they, learn all of the toxic things from their narcissistic parent, and, they become narcissists themselves as well. I have seen, some of the golden child being stripped of that title, and they were labeled as the scapegoat. And why such a thing happened? Because the golden child was trying to do things his way or her way, was asking questions, was basically a kind of an inconvenience to the narcissistic parent. And then the title was stripped, and he or she was made the scapegoat. So that also exists in narcissistic families. Now coming to these narcissistic parents and their golden child. So the golden child is someone who bears the burden of unrealistic expectations, doing all that emotional labor, upholding family name, tradition, and value. They are programmed and groomed to be someone who protects the narcissistic family. Yeah, and in that process they themselves become narcissists, these golden child. The golden child are very badly enmeshed with their narcissistic parent, and they are trained and conditioned to serve the needs, the never ending needs, wants, and requirement of their narcissistic parent. And because of this they are unable to develop a sense of self. Yeah, they don't grow up the way how healthy individual does. They grow up you can say in a very dysfunctional, toxic, weird manner. Their growth is stunted. Yeah, they are, you can say, handicapped emotionally and psychologically. And they are, addicted to their narcissistic parents validation, and some amount of breadcrumbs that is thrown at them. They are heavily addicted to it, and they have no other way out apart from complying. Yeah, because they can be either good in studies or good to look at, or they can be very obedient, or they might be bringing in good name, fame, honor to the family, and they might be doing things that might reflect the narcissistic parent as a wonderful, amazing parent in front of the others. So these are the reasons why a child is put on that pedestal, of that golden child. Yeah, that's how a golden child is made. When the narcissistic parents see that they can harvest good amount of things from the child, then they start conditioning the child, they start grooming them, and that's how a golden child is made. At any point of time, a golden child can be stripped of their title, and they can be invisible, or they can be scapegoated. That also exists. It's all about supply. So till the time you are giving the supply, okay, you're the good one. The moment you question, say no, refuse, all of the good titles will be stripped, and you will be just treated as if you are an inconvenience, you are invisible, you're good for nothing, you're worthless, you're a burden. Yeah, so narcissistic parents are good in doing all of those things. So the golden child, in a narcissistic family, um, is the one who upholds the family name, honor, glory, who brings in good name, and who helps the narcissistic parent uh, to be seen as good and amazing parent. Yeah, so it's a very weird kind of a relationship. The parents are giving crumbs, tiny bit of validation, approval, crumbs, and this child takes up the role of their rescuer, of their savior, of their protector. And that's it. The child doesn't have a life of his own. The child is just dedicated to serve the narcissistic parent, to protect them, to enable them, and to reflect them as good parent in front of the others. So before I get into the reasons, let me tell you, this video is regarding the different reasons why golden child of narcissistic parents marry. Yeah, the golden child can be a girl, the golden child can be a guy as well. Yeah, so just an important disclaimer before I get into the reasons, that these reasons can be seen with a female golden child or a male golden child. Yeah, so it's for both of them, not just for male golden child, it's for female golden child as well. The first reason why these golden child of narcissistic parents marry is because of financial gain. So marriage is often seen as a means to secure financial stability, access wealth, or fulfill their parents expectations of social mobility. So these golden child may choose a spouse based on financial benefits rather than emotional compatibility. Yeah, they will pitch, or they will look for those individuals who are rich, well to do, well off, who are earning a lot. And that's how they secure the family's financial stability and position. Yeah, and of course they are praised for such discovery. They are praised for such arrangement. If they are marrying a rich partner, mm, I mean, they are bringing in wealth in the family, and it makes the narcissistic parent happy. Yeah, and that's the reason a lot of these golden child, they are really obsessed to get married to someone rich, and get settled. They don't get into the system where you both work things out and become rich together. I mean, you help your wife helps the husband, and you both work things out together. These golden child, they don't look for such relationships. They first identify the guys or the girls who are rich and well to do, and then they start baiting them, they start shape shifting, they start mirroring, they start love bombing, and that's how they capture you can say good prospect, yeah, who are rich, who are financially stable, who are financially well off. And all of it is basically to secure their family financial situation. All of it is basically to upgrade their family's financial status. Yeah, it's not just for them, yeah, it's for the family. Again, lots of trauma bonding, unhealthy enmeshment, emotional incest. And these children, the golden child, they are in a way emotionally married to their narcissistic parents. They are fused in a very unhealthy way with their narcissistic parent, and as a result of which you know uh, they view their partner as a supplier and nothing more, nothing less. Yeah, I mean, they are emotionally wedded, and as a result of which they are just done. They are saturated. They have this inability to connect with someone else on an emotional level, because they are already connected and enmeshed with their narcissistic parent. Yeah, so it becomes very difficult. All what they see their partner as is someone who does things for me, someone who brings in money, and that's it. There is uh zero emotional compatibility, no emotional connection, nothing. It's very superficial, it's very transactional. And again, this is because they have learned all of these things from their narcissistic parent, all that transactional behavior, conditional love. So they keep replicating, they keep doing the same thing in their personal space and life as well. So yes, these golden child, they get married for financial gain. And that's the reason you see a lot of dowry and all of these things existing in society, at least from where I come. I mean, in our culture, in our community, and the place where I grew up, I used to see that it was a common thing, extorting money from the girl's family. And it was all under the guise of that it's for your girl's well-being, it's for the couple's future and all that BS. Yeah, so it's all about supply. Yeah, and the child, the golden child, also views things in that way. It's all about supply, what I can get out of the relationship. So the first reason why these golden child of narcissistic parents marry is for financial gain. The second reason why these golden child get married is because they need an incubator to procreate, or you can say a sperm donor. In the case, if the golden child is a man, he needs an incubator. And when it's a girl, I mean girl golden child, she needs someone who can inseminate her, yeah, impregnate her. So all what they need is a partner with whom they can procreate. Now you need to understand that in many, or rather in every narcissistic families, the golden child is expected to continue the family lineage and produce children who will serve as an extension of the narcissistic parents. Yeah, so this golden child you know uh, basically views the relationship as means to get things that is going to please the narcissistic parent. Yeah, so the spouse is in most of the cases primarily chosen for their ability to fulfill this reproductive role. Yeah, I mean, they want to you know uh, continue the family lineage. Yeah, I mean, the toxic narcissistic family lineage. Things are pretty distorted, and these guys are messed up in the head as well. I mean, these golden child, whether it's a boy or a girl. So their reason to get married is just to have an incubator or someone who can inseminate them or impregnate them. That's it. Yeah, it's not about love, you know having a healthy relationship, working things out together, growing into each other, starting family, out of love, altruistic reasons. No, it's very, I would say, commercial, transactional, and that's it. There is no room for love. I mean, initially, these golden, child, I mean, whether it's a girl or a boy, they might, express lots of love, and, they might say that they are mad about you. And again, they are just, doing what they have been seeing. Yeah, they are just doing this to get you on board, to get you on hook. That's it. And then they are going to devalue you, or in some of the cases they might even discard you if they are unable to harvest things out of you. So these golden child, they get married for all the wrong reasons. Yeah. And trust me, their partner suffers, whether it's a man or a woman, or if the golden child is a woman, she's just using the man. And if it's a man, a golden child who's a man, he's going to just use the woman. There is no love. It's all about supply. And they want to become a supplier, for their narcissistic parent. I am giving things to my narcissistic parent, but let me bring in another one, another mate who can, give my narcissistic parent more things. Yeah, and there are more things in the family. So it's very transactional. It's sad, but that's how things are. The third reason why these golden child of narcissistic parents get married is because they need hospice, for their narcissistic parents. The golden child may marry someone who will later take on the burden of caregiving, for their aging narcissistic parents. I mean, caregiving, or providing financial support. I mean, it can be anything. Yeah. And this basically ensures that the responsibility does not fall entirely on them. I mean, on the golden child. The responsibility is shared. The responsibility is shared, allowing them to maintain their own comfort while their spouse is manipulated into servitude. Yeah. So they don't want to do a lot of labor. They don't want to be the hospice. They don't want to be the only one serving their narcissistic parents. So they want another member. Yeah. And that's the reason they get married. Yeah. So that when my narcissistic parent is sick, or they need caregiving, they need some kind of financial support, I can shift all of that responsibility onto my spouse. Yeah, whether it's finances, you know medical care, or support, or someone who does things for them. Everything is shared, and eventually it's pushed onto the spouse. So yes, I mean, these golden child, they want a hospice for their narcissistic parents, and that is the reason they get married. I mean, if it's a man, I mean, a golden child who's a man, they want a caregiver, a caretaker, or hospice who's going to do everything for their ailing, sick narcissistic parents. And if it's a a girl who's the golden child, she will bring in a guy who has lots of empathy, who's very altruistic. She's going to pitch such kind of an individual, and then she is going to shift the responsibility onto him. I mean, my parents are like your parents, you should do things for them. Yeah. And she keeps manipulating her spouse, and she shifts the entire responsibility and burden onto his shoulder. I have seen it in a lot of cases, where these women who are golden child of the narcissistic parent, they pitch, they select the wealthiest ones, and then they start siphoning money from their husband, and they start giving all that support and care to their parent. I mean, it's horrible. I mean, it's your responsibility. You need to do things for your parent. Your spouse is not obligated, and your spouse is not responsible for your narcissistic parents. But these folks, I mean, these golden child, they have a different understanding, they have a different awareness, they have a different consciousness altogether. Yeah, they function at a different level altogether. Yeah, so expecting them to behave and react healthy is stupidity. The other reason why these golden child of narcissistic parents get married is because they need an unpaid laborer. Marriage provides a source of unpaid emotional, physical, domestic labor. Yeah, so the spouse is often expected to handle household responsibilities, raise children, and cater to the golden child's needs without receiving genuine appreciation or reciprocity. So they need an unpaid laborer. Yeah, someone who can do things for them as well as for their narcissistic parents. And in return, these guys who get married to the golden child, they don't get any genuine appreciation, or they never experience equal reciprocity. It's just one way. They got married, and now they have to do all the labor, whether it's emotional, whether it's physical, domestic. All of the labor is on the shoulder of the spouse, and this golden child is just there babysitting his or her narcissistic parent. So these golden child, they need unpaid labor for themselves as well as for their narcissistic parents. And then they are given tiny bit of crumbs. Oh, you're so good, your wife serves me well, I'm going to write this will, I'm going to give you this inheritance and this and that. And these golden child, they are like puppies. They are on their four, ready to do anything and everything to please their narcissistic parent, because they know what it feels like whenever they push the wrong buttons. I mean, whenever they you can say trigger their narcissistic parents, whenever they cause them narcissistic injury. These golden child, I mean, they know to what extent their parents can go, and as a result of which, in order to maintain harmony, calm, tranquility, they just want to do things that please their narcissistic parent, and they keep getting their steady flow of validation, tiny bit of love, affection, all those breadcrumb things. And they keep gaslighting themselves, they keep gaslighting the others, that that's how they are, they love me, they love you, they are old, forgive, forget, don't think about things. They are just the way they are because of their difficult backstory. They are good people on the inside, they are good soul on the inside. So all that bullshit stuff. So these individuals, I mean, the golden child of narcissistic parents, they get married because they need an unpaid laborer in the family, as someone who can serve them as well as their narcissistic parent. The other reason why these golden child of narcissistic parents get married is because of social status and image maintenance. The golden child is raised to uphold the family's public image. They may marry someone who enhances their social standing, aligns with their parents' expectations, or makes them look good to outsiders, regardless of personal compatibility. Yeah, so they might hunt or pitch, or bring in individuals who are well off, who are well to do, I mean, exposed, educated, working individuals, and all of it is basically to make the family look good. Yeah, that I have a beautiful wife, I have an educated wife, I have a rich wife, I have a rich husband, I have an educated husband. And it's all about the family's public image. There is nothing called compatibility, or healthy connection, or reciprocity. It's all about the image. Yeah, the kind of facade that the narcissistic parents built, these kids, I mean, the golden child of narcissistic parents, they have, this burden, yeah, of adding more to it. Yeah, I mean, for example, I mean, my parents were, I mean, into lying and, creating this false facade that they are great and amazing, generous, kind. So, I would, bring in, someone rich. I would bring in someone influential so that, they can also, credit hog. They can also, uh, um reflect, the entire family as an amazing family, wonderful family, where we have got this and this guy. I mean, they are so well to do. So, it's all about, uh, uh, harvesting supply. It's all about reflecting the family as an amazing family in front of the others, and to get their work done. Yeah, I mean, they are just not bothered. I mean, these narcissistic parents are not bothered about your relationship with your spouse. They are just concerned about the things they can get out of your spouse and you. Yeah, that's how things are in narcissistic families. So these narcissistic, parents train their golden child, yeah, to get married, for social status and image maintenance. Yeah, I mean, even though the narcissistic parent is illiterate, poor, retard, not well to do, but they will, train and educate their son or daughter, to look for a rich partner, to look, to look for someone who falls, madly in love with them. I mean, their golden child. And they are ready to do anything for their golden child. And if they are ready to do anything for their golden child, they will be ready to do anything and everything for the golden child's narcissistic parent as well. So these guys are really toxic and dysfunctional. But I mean, we can't do much about it. I mean, I was also in relationship with, a golden child of a narcissistic parent. I mean, the father was a grandiose narcissist and the mother was a covert narcissist. Yeah. And he had, you can say, manipulated me into believing that he's the right one. And he will do anything and everything for me. And he made me feel that, it's my duty to do anything and everything for him as well as, for his family. Yeah, so he will just do things for me, but he want me to do for him as well as, do things for his family, his narcissistic family. So these folks, I mean, the golden child of narcissistic parents, they are good in fishing, they are good in, catfishing, they are good in fishing, they are good in manipulating, their, target. And all of it is basically to, bring in people, who can, serve them as well as their narcissistic parent. Yeah, bring in people, who can actually, add more to their social image, add more to their social status. These golden child are never going to get married to someone who's poor, or someone who's not, good to look at, or someone who's not doing that great, someone, who's differently able. They are not going to look for those individuals. They will, capture and look out for those who are well to do. Yeah, I mean, that's a common theme. That's something, which I have seen in majority of the cases. Yeah. And the last reason why these golden child of narcissistic parents get married is, for control and narcissistic supply. Just as they were conditioned by their parents, to seek validation, these golden child, often marries, to secure a constant source of admiration and emotional support. They may seek a partner they can dominate and manipulate, repeating the same toxic patterns, they learned from their own upbringing, from their childhood, yeah, by their narcissistic parents. So they want their own source of supply as well. They are their parents' source of supply, and now they want to get married and have their own source of supply. Yeah. And this is, because they are also becoming a narcissist themselves. They didn't have a healthy role model. all of the toxic, all of the bullshit, all of the dysfunctional thing that they have seen, they have absorbed and learned, believing that this is normal, this is how things are in families, they, replicate, and they, recreate all of those things in their family. Yeah, so they also want their own source of supply, source of admiration, source of emotional support, and that's the reason they get married. So it's not for healthy reasons. They get married for all the wrong reasons. And if you are married to a golden child, you know how things are. Yeah, I mean, there's no way out. You can't change them, you can't change their parent. The only thing that you can do is that let them be with their narcissistic parents, and you take a leave and you move on in life. You can never make things work out. There is one way, with the help of which you can make things work out, but in that process you might lose yourself. In that process you might damage yourself. In that process you might hurt yourself. Yeah, and that is to behave like their parent. Yeah, but it's not healthy. You can carry on with the relationship if you start behaving like their narcissistic parent, if you start treating them exactly the way how their narcissistic parents treat them. That will be familiar, that will be good for them. They will understand, they'll be able to relate to it. Yeah, but if you treat them in a healthy manner, if you expect them to treat you in a healthy manner, um, that's not right. That's something which you should not expect from these folks. Yeah, because they grew up with distortion. They grew up with distorted understanding about things. Yeah, so if you are treating them in a healthy manner, and if you're expecting them to treat you in a healthy way, that's stupidity. They are never going to be able to communicate or treat you in a healthy way. Yeah, so I mean, the only way to make things work out with the golden child is to become like their narcissistic parent. And trust me, I mean, I have seen some of the individuals choosing to stay in the relationship, and um, I mean, I still wonder how they are in that relationship, how they are surviving. But yes, I mean, they have become, a kind of a narcissist themselves, and that's how they survived. Otherwise, for healthy individuals like you and me, it's not possible. And it's not a part of my personality, or it's not a part of your personality to behave toxic, to abuse others, to manipulate others, to gaslight others, and to do all sorts of nasty things with others. I mean, it's not a part of who we are. Yeah, so it gets very difficult. But again, I have seen some of the individuals actually becoming toxic, in order to survive that relationship. I mean, it's their life. I'm no one to comment on that. But yes, I mean, don't get into a relationship where you can't be yourself. Don't get into a relationship where you can't be your authentic self. Yeah, if you have to shape shift, if you have to people please, if you have to take on some other kind of a persona, I don't think that's a healthy relationship. Somewhere or the other it is going to drain you, somewhere or the other it is going to damage you, and scar you for life. Yeah, so yes, these were some of the reasons why these golden child of narcissistic parents get married. In case if you would like to add in something, you can always comment below. Till then, take care of yourself. Lots of love and blessings to all of you. Bye.